Welcome to this next episode of Your Music, Your Story. We're talking with the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Osu.
Hey.
I've heard many stories.
Oh, that's comedy. Okay.
Well, when I first started having this idea, Dave was like, you got to talk with Ben if you can. He's super busy, but you got to talk with Ben. I'm like, all right.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
So you came recommended highly from Dave.
Oh, no. Dude, Dave's the shit. Yeah. He's super cool in the scene wise. And that was my start, too. Was like all like ska and punk. I just playing live and I guess all those bands are just super, super cool.
Yeah, and I also came from Josh and Jay. I talked with both of them. They're like, oh, Ben, you got to tell Ben what up.
Yeah, and I haven't seen them in such a long time. I miss those guys, too. But, that was like, I think jamming with those guys was like, I think it was a cool start to like intro into playing live, into the scene. Because I didn't even really listen to that much punk or ska just in general. I was kind of I played in the band first and then I learned it as I went. But I'm glad I grew up in that scene because I feel like out of all the scenes, it's like the one that's one is like the funniest scene out there. Super cool, everyone's super fun. And it's like the most honest of like everyone's there to do it because they like doing it. I know that's a weird thing with music, but there's a lot of people in music in different scenes. I feel like there's a lot of mercenaries or something. I don't know how the right word is for it, but there's a lot of people that are in it for different reasons. But punk and ska, I feel like they're all in it because they like playing that music, and it really shows up from like outside of just like hanging like. Everyone's really cool and relaxed and stuff, and it's interesting because like punk is like hardcore by nature, you know. But everyone in it is super super nice. It's almost the exact opposite. You're like, oh, what the hell? Okay, this is tight. You know what I mean? You're like that. And then Josh and Jay and Robert. I'm always gonna have love for those guys because I mean they almost like pretty much taught. I like pretty much watched how to perform through seeing them like with the banter and the energy and stuff, you know, and then the hang, you know, they're just super cool dudes that, you know, like being teachers and like Robert's a doctor and stuff, and then we go play punk music. It's super random, but yeah.
They're totally funny. They crack me up. They just make me chuckle. So. What you're doing now? It's Top Shelf Brass Band. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah. I've been doing that project for a minute. That's something I always like. Just have fun playing, doing. It's kind of like a New Orleans group.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And but we do a lot of. I don't know. I feel like the aim is we just play whatever. But I guess the only parameters is like in the like New Orleans setup, just horns.
Okay.
Like we have a keyboard player now. Drew's on keys, but yeah, I think. It's funny. It's like an acapella group, but the exact opposite. You know what I mean? But with the horns, you know, like given the parameters of that, and then we can play anything. So if we play a song and then they're not expecting us, you know, I know that we did our job. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I've seen some of your videos. Every now and then you'll have. Well, I don't want to say it's a drummer because I remember I think one of the ones I saw, the guy had a bass drum and like a little cymbal.
Oh yeah,
one guy had a snare.
Yeah.
So so that's mostly just your horns, and then okay, we might need this. You'll go and find somebody just to help on one every now and then, but you don't have a permanent one per se.
Yeah, we've been changing up the setup a lot lately, but yeah, we've been doing the straight Nola snare drummer and then bass drummer with a cymbal, and those guys usually have like, it's funny, we've been changing it up. There's like, because there's not really a brass band scene, or it's growing. But there's not really a brass band scene here in Southern California. So we had to like learn it as we were playing it. You know, like there's no one like in New Orleans. You can grow up. You're like 8 years old, and then you can go outside and see everyone doing it, and then you just by watching, right? But now like there's just no one around. We're like, oh, I guess we got to figure it out. We're watching videos and then trial and error until we work up the sound, you know?
Okay, so you all that Louisiana down south.
Yeah. That was like definitely a lot of inspiration, like the Soul Rebels, To Be Continued Brass Band, Youngblood, like a lot of the like New Orleans inspired groups and New Orleans groups, like definitely had a big influence, and they all have the split drums. So seeing that, like, okay, how do we figure out those grooves and then put them in our style, and then we try to do our own spin on it too. So naturally brings up something new. It's kind of chill though.
Nice. So who all is in that with you?
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. I was bringing up a sax player because I've been going by there a lot because he's in high school. A lot of us guys are high school and like community college friends. So Edmund, I'm not gonna say where we are, but he lives down the street. But I mean, so I got Edmund, Marlo's on sax. I got Adam. Adam's in Missouri right now. Hope he's doing well.
Nice.
I heard there's like a tornado going over there.
Like he lives out there, or he's just
no.
visiting?
He's just doing a run, a theme park run over there for like a month and then coming back. So yeah, Adam, Edmund. I got my brother Zeke on tuba. I got Jack and Devin on drums. Drew's on the keys. Andrew Alvarado on trombone. Will Jackson on trumpet.
Nice.
I think that's everyone. It's more the instruments, and we have a lot of people coming in now. Like we usually feature out. We have like regular features that we go. Zarius Giddens on guitar. He's a beast. He plays like he's like the R&B guitar sound right now. Like that's why we love having him go jamming over with us. And Princess Aphrodite. I have to make sure I get this name right because she always changes the tag. It's like Funkadelic, you know what I mean? But
is that the one you got to, like I Love You or
yeah,
like that?
I Found Love, yeah. Or Time, yeah. There's two songs right now: Time for Love and I Fell in Love.
I think it was I Fell in Love. That one sounds familiar.
Princess Aphrodite Love, L. Johnson. I think, yeah, exactly, yeah. I know that
something like that.
No, yeah, I always mess up sometimes, and she's like, "Hey, you forgot to say this one word." I was like, "Shoot!" There's like 4 or 5 names. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been fun rocking with this group, especially now because it's like I said, since there's no like a brass band scene, no one expects us. I think that's the kind of the funnest thing is like we go to a new place and then no one knows what we're gonna sound like. Like someone has an idea because maybe they'll see the like instrumentation, and maybe if they've been to New Orleans, then they might have some idea. Like because we sometimes we play New Orleans stuff, but even then, like I think that's like one of the funnest parts going around is that like we'll go to a certain place and then maybe it'll be like a fair or whatever, a festival or something, and then they see us and they like I can see the expression just going looking like, oh,
I wasn't expecting that.
yeah, and then them liking it and then getting people to dance and stuff. So, but it's always like yeah, it's like I can, and it's funny. I always get hyped up on that because I know because usually when we're setting up, just because it looks so random, like there's like 10 people on a stage, you know what I mean? And
Was this a ska band?
for real, it's like look at this ska band with like 9 horns and a sousaphone and the drum, like it just looks wild. So usually when we're setting up, kind of draws in a crowd, so that kind of always helps us. I can see just the interest of how random it is, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree. I don't think I've ever heard of any kind of a New Orleans style thing around here. So how did you guys?
Yeah.
Where did that idea come up?
Yeah, just pretty much online. Like I was like I was always into brass band or just making groups in general. Like I had like back at RCC, I had an a cappella group before I was in a band, I guess, right? So it was like that was like the idea of forming that, but going to horns, you know.
Okay.
How like the a cappella group was like all one on a part, so I was like, okay, so if we could do that just with the horns and instead of a beatboxer get drums. And there weren't that many bands out there. It was like I had another group that I want to make what's it called? One of the early ones, or the Youngblood Brass Band. They were really early. They're from like I think Wisconsin. Yeah, I don't know. They're one of the first groups that they're a bunch of white dudes that love New Orleans, and then when they flipped it, they made their own thing, and they were super dope. So I remember seeing them. I was just like, okay, like it'd be cool to do something similar. I don't know exactly, just because like even for me at that time, I was like, I don't even know what we would sound like, but it'd be cool to do some sort of group like this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because like you go doing band, like whether it's marching band, jazz band, concert, whatever it is, like you're always told like, yo, you got to play this song, play this, and they're like, oh, how will we play this thing, whatever. And then like it was like in the same time period as I was doing the B sharps and stuff. So I remember I was like, oh yeah, we can play whatever we want. Like I was playing with the B sharps, and then I was going to marching band. I'm like, we don't have to play this. We can go out and play.
We can do other stuff.
We can do other. Yeah, exactly.
There's a bigger world out there.
Exactly. That's 100% what I was thinking. So like inspired off of playing outside of school and then getting a like the crew that I knew back then, and then 10 years later, now here we are. Yeah.
Holy cow. So was it hard finding members that were interested in that kind of stuff?
A little bit. It wasn't too, I mean, and it was back when I was like 19 or 20 or something. So it wasn't that hard thinking about, just because we all had bad time, you know, and back then. So I was able to say like, yo, you want to meet when you're free? I'm like, I'm like in an hour. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like
it works.
yeah. So it was pretty easy to like gather up back then, you know. Like I'm working on projects now, and it's almost like impossible. Just like hitting up people and then finding, it's like working around schedules. It's super difficult, but yeah. Seeing back then, I was like, man, I should have just been moving faster back then. Now, it's
we all do it.
Exactly. Now looking back, I'm like, dang, I should have. Yada 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 yada. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, back then, those are some fun times for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how often do you guys get together, or do you practice, or how does that work?
Yeah, we're in a weird middle ground right now because everyone like, and I feel like it changes too. Like as we're all getting older, and then the bands changing. I think it goes up, and this goes with every group. I'm sure it goes up in waves. So right now we just been kind of meeting a little bit for gigs and floating by. You know, we haven't rehearsed that much. You know, it's one of the stages where we're like, oh, what's been the last gig? And like maybe we play at least a few times a month, maybe at least twice a month. So it's kind of often, but like right now, like what's been on my mind lately, it's just been writing and getting new charts to, I guess, bring out new material.
Okay.
You know, because we've been playing the same set, and then I know a lot of groups do this, but it's like having an old set and like we know this works, and then we meet at the other gig, I'm like we just do the same set, and like do we do a rehearsal? Let's just do this. We'll just do the same thing. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like a big trap, having something that works and not growing it, and then you're just like keep on doing the same thing. You know, though it's easy and you get the job done, and you know it's gonna work, but I feel like that almost like kills the performance or something. I don't know. Yeah, just the energy of it. You know.
Oh yeah. So there's a band that I used to play when. So I played bass for these guys, and that was when I was playing with Dave with the Retcons. And so these guys, I mean, they're good. They're kind of like a hard rock. You know, they had a female singer, but so I joined them. I think they had been a little bit of a bigger band. I don't know how much bigger before I joined them and moved here, but I guess they played some bigger shows. So when I joined, I guess they took a hiatus and I joined. And they're like, yeah, they were still living on that. We were that big. So we're not going to play a show until we start getting more. And I'm like, well, you're not going to get to that show if you never play a show.
Yeah.
I think we played for 3 or 4 years, and then we played the same 8 songs.
Yeah.
They didn't write it. And it's just like, I mean, it's cool. At first, you're like, oh, yeah. And then eventually, like you're saying, you know the songs, you know it's going to work. But at the same time, you're like, this is boring.
Yeah, it's like the process of like it's like when to know when to change it up, right?
Yeah,
because that's like the I don't know. Yeah, that's happened with every group I played in. Like a certain set is gone through, and then we kind of just use that for a while until we write something new, or I don't know. But that's like been what I'm focusing on now with Top Shelf, just because we turned into a working band. Yeah, we were like chasing money because we were like playing for fun for a long time, and then we noticed, kind of like because we played a lot of we play a lot of covers, so we noticed there's a lot of I guess avenues as like a cover band, and then the form of band, like the type of band that we are, seems to be really it works well with corporate events, and weddings, like specifically like the New Orleans things for weddings, and being the form of a marching band for corporate events. I feel like went hand in hand. Like we didn't know that was like an avenue, but it's like huge. And like I know a ton of people that's like all their whole gig is just doing corporate events or weddings. So then we kind of fell in that, and then just kept on doing those, using the same set, and maybe we'll add some songs. You know, but that was like the trap of like getting money, like, oh, we can just go make money and start doing stuff. Yeah. But then the show was like not as fun. And then like the show started getting more I guess I guess it's less lack for terminology. It's just less fun. You know what I mean? You're just like turn into
your 9 to 5.
Yeah. I was like, how did I do this? How did I have this thing that was so tight, and then I just turned it into something that like it's still cool, like it's still better than other jobs that I've done, but it's still like it just molded into something so corporate of just like, oh yeah, just clocking in, playing these songs, and like it wasn't even like the performance is always tight. I feel like everyone can say that playing is always fun, but the what's it called? It was all the BS running with gigs of like playing for crowds or people that don't really like it or appreciate it.
You're like the background.
Yeah, it's like something. You're just a jukebox. You didn't really have to be there, or maybe you're playing for a corporate event, and the corporate event kind of sucks or something. I don't know. Like playing for like I felt like we would try to do a fast rate for money, and it did work. You know, and I feel like I'll still take the gig and stuff like that now, but I just like it's almost like now I'm thinking of going back to the drawing board and going back to our roots of just like, okay, let's figure out something that we like to do and have fun doing. You know, we'll still make money on the like doing it, but in the way that we want to. You know, like because like we got there making like doing corporate gigs and stuff like that. Like we originally and like doing the theme park stuff, we started doing that because we were just having fun. They just liked what we were already doing. So then when we got into that field, we're like, oh yeah, they'll just cater to these type of gigs specifically. And then we just kept on catering it to it, you know, and people coming in and out. And and then it almost like, what's it called? The band like lost its like voice or the show, you know, like it turned into a working band really fast, and I was like, oh, this is tight and also not tight. How do I get out of this now? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So when you guys do the Legoland, like how did that start up? Is you were saying like, hey, we like what you guys are doing, and they came and asked you, how did you do, guys?
yeah, that was we worked with a contractor for a long time through there, and it was like right during the pandemic, like right when it was like ending. They were like the rides were closed, but they still wanted entertainment, right? So then we knew someone that we worked with her, Rachel. What's up, Rachel? She's super tight. She worked with us at SeaWorld, and then she also worked at Legoland. And then when they needed like bands or whatever, she put in the word for the, I guess, the contractor that we work with, and then and then he hit us up because they're like, oh, we need a show, but we don't have like, there's not enough time to build a show or whatever for the rehearsals to like hire random people and then get the rehearsals and you know what I mean. So it was easier for them to just like, oh, you guys are already a set band. There's already musicians. Okay, let's just have you guys come in. So we did that for about like maybe for about a year, and then it's like maybe like switched out here and there, and I think there's like three of us that are still there right now. Yeah, because it started with like maybe like a 4, 5, 6 piece that we kind of that were like the 6 of us that were able to do it back then, because it was like still COVID was still kind of like going on in like 2021.
Yeah.
So like, it was like 1 year right after it was like, so like not everyone was down or not everyone was available, but yeah, now what is it? This is gonna be year 3. Yeah, I'm glad to have a random gig that's still going on, and it's like similar to the style of the band. So even though it's not exactly the same thing or exactly the same band, you know, it's still like I can still play how I want to play, which is like a luxury. I mean, like most places or any place, like if I go play at Disneyland or play with another group, you got to play like them.
They tell you, here's what you got, this is what you're playing.
Exactly. Here's a style, you got to play in this style, this era, whatever, in the music. But since we started I guess we're like it spawned off of Top Shelf, and the style kind of like continued on, you know.
Yeah.
It was like the template. I guess that was it. Like Top Shelf was like the template of the show. And then I was like, oh, I could just play exactly like this, and it's completely fine. You know, I mean, like that's like, I think the probably the luxury. I always have to. I'm always super grateful. Like, oh yeah, there's not many people have a gig where they can just like play exactly how they want to.
Yeah.
You know.
So just out of curiosity, when you first started out there, what's the difference? I'm assuming there's crowds are starting to come back. People are starting to come back from when you first started till now.
Oh yeah, it's like full swing now. It's like it's pretty cool. Like when we first played, there was like it was like us and the tech. There was like no one in there. I was surprised when people showed up. I was like, because like when we first started, obviously the rides were closed out, so there was like, I think, and half of the park was like open, like just cut off from the public, because it was also a water park, so that was definitely closed down. So it's basically just like a walk through museum, just seeing like
here's the Lego sets or whatever.
Yeah, like here's Lego Vegas and stuff, and Lego whatever, you know. So yeah, but now it's pretty cool. Like we do like 2 small sets, and then like 2 small sets and 2 large sets at the end of the day, and yeah, it's pretty packed now. Well, like I think their capacity is like maybe 20,000, and
holy cow,
yeah, and that I guess that's max. But I mean, like most of the like things, I guess most days are probably like a little under half or something, and then on the main days it's like pretty packed. Yeah. But yeah, I guess, and then that's like throughout the day. But like, imagine when we first started, it was like in the hundreds, 100 or 100. You know what I mean?
A huge room, and there's like scattered people.
Yeah, there would just be like it would look really odd. It was like it was crazy just to see like 1 or 2 people just walking around and stuff. But now it actually feels like a theme park, you know. But
so now is it an indoor or an outdoor kind of thing?
This place, yeah, it's all outdoor. Yeah, and then that one's pretty chill. Because I've done some indoor stuff, and I feel like I always like indoor when it's like the summer, it's super hot. But now that's like Yeah, it's been kind of chilly, so I don't mind it now.
Yeah, that's got to be rough.
Yeah.
Because you probably have something you're supposed to wear, right?
Yeah, and honestly, the uniform is pretty they almost feel like pajamas because they're all like athletic wear. So I don't mind it. I've done some theme park gigs like at SeaWorld. We used to be they had a Rudolph the reindeer like show, and we're all in the straight like elves costume, like the blue like pink pants and the blue coats and stuff, and that was super uncomfortable and terrible. And I was like, yeah. So I'm glad to have have this uniform because basically it looks like a mock baseball uniform and it's super stretchy. So I'm like, and the fact that it's super breathable, even when it gets hot, it's not too bad. You know,
that's good. I
mean,
yeah. Could be worse.
No, yeah, it definitely could be worse. I think, that last one hit that I did in Missouri, that uniform, it was like the theme park is kind of like a Knott's Berry Farm. But the theme of the band was like a early 1800s or late 1800s like a carnival.
Oh, like the old Western.
It was like an old Western, but they were trying to do a carnival, so that we had like these like rainbow pants and these pirate shirts with like. I don't know how to explain it. Let's look at like that uniform and the elf uniform, probably the worst uniforms that I've had to wear.
Well, we look like dorks.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, well, I wanted to get money and play music, so this is what you know what I mean. It's just like I guess this is what I gotta do, And it's always super, it's always super chill. Like anytime. Like that's the thing. Anytime I'm always having like a bad day music wise, I just like it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's still tight, and still I'm still willing to go through any of it. You know what I mean? Like however like embarrassing or tired I am or whatever it is.
Hit the blunt on a hunt for the high. We wonder why, where our lives are headed, with nothing left regretted. My life is crazy, feeling so hazy. Waking up late but it don't mean I'm lazy. Lighting my fire, share my desire. Thinking of her got me higher and higher. Need a good strand, don't let her be bland. Time slipping away through my fingers like sand. Damn, just need myself awake and bake.
it's hard to sleep at night. I've been smoking, drinking too, enough to feel alright. Yeah, got to beat this level. I know I'll be okay. Life turns on the pause menu. I get back and press play. It's hard to sleep at night. I've been smoking, I've been drinking, just enough to feel alright. I got to beat this level. Yeah, I know I'll be okay. Cause when life turns on the pause menu, I get back and press play.
So you talked about playing at SeaWorld and Legoland. You're like a contractor. You're not actually employed by those companies.
Yeah, it's like there's always like a side company that I'm hired through, and then they're like doing all the like it's directing. Because I haven't like the one I did even at Disney. Pretty much all the parks usually hire some sort of like other company to like handle all the logistics stuff, and then I'll get paid through them or whatever, you know.
So you don't actually work for them. You work for somebody else who does service for them.
Yeah, and there's some company. I think some groups are like through the park, you know. But I don't know. Most for some reason, musicians or maybe bands or something. It seems like most theme parks just contract those out. Like maybe a lot of dancers I've seen works directly with theme parks. But yeah, it seems like theme parks don't want to deal with musicians or something. I don't know, but I've played a lot of theme parks, and they all have some sort of contractor involved.
Bunch of flaky musicians.
You know, for it's true in there for sure. Yeah, just trying to like maybe they don't want to deal with logistics or rallying up the musicians or whatever. I don't know, but that seems to be the deal. Like right now, I'm doing this run with Suburban Legends over at California Adventure, and when I first heard about it, I was like, "Oh, it's this is gonna be cool. We'd be good to hang in the park or whatever." And then I found out we're going as contractors, and we get nothing. There's no like Disney doesn't give. I heard like they used to like get into the park or get to sign in people and stuff like that, but I guess not anymore. I guess Disney just doesn't want. I was like, I'm like walking around the park in my breaks for a little bit, for like just like okay, tired that I got to be in here and stuff, and like maybe I'll stay in the park after or like I don't know. Like we were talking about it, like how do we get in the park and stuff like that. It's so weird. Like I guess they're just tightening up like this year in general. But yeah, you'd think even as a contractor you can get something, but.
Nope.
But I guess, but that's their liberty. Like, oh, you guys are only contractors, so there's nothing.
You don't get nothing.
No, for real. Yeah,
you don't even get a bathroom.
No, yeah, it's interesting. Like Disney's tight though. I feel like all the other ones, you know, like most theme parks or like Legoland feels like a village. You know, or like, you know, everyone knows each other. You see the same people, you know what I mean? The back area is not that big and walking around. But then like Disney feels like a country. There's like different departments. There's like different borders and stuff around, and the departments are huge. So it's kind of wild over there. But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So where do you play? Because I thought Suburban Legends played in Disneyland.
Yeah.
But now they play in California Adventure. Where do they play?
Yeah. It is California Adventure right now because it's part of the Food and Wine Festival. So they got a stage right there on I don't even know what it's called, Pixar Pier. They keep on changing the names.
That's where like it's right in front of the wheel, whatever.
Yeah, right by the World of Color. Yeah, there's like the backdrop super cool. It has all the rides in the background, so that's been really tight to perform there. And it's interesting because like some of those guys have played at Disney so much, and I can tell like how we talked about with the same set. You know what I'm thinking about being burnt out, not burnt out, but I can tell that they're like they're about it, but also not about it, just because they've done it so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like kills any group, even for like Suburban Legends. They're so great, and they're like naturally just so great at performing. And I know they love performing, and playing, but I think it's just like doing anything for too long or doing the same thing or something. I don't know. Yeah. I think the change always helps because I was like super excited to go on the first day, and they were like, like even the sound check. I was like, man, this is super exciting. We need to go in and we're gonna pay just the sound check here. And then most of the guys are like, like they're like, I hope it rains out. I'm like, what? You don't want to get rained out? You don't want to play? Like,
I got stuff to do.
No, for real. Yeah. So that's why I knew. I was like, oh man, like because they just were doing it for a long time, and I think they got worked to death too. But like right now we're doing like 20, like we're doing 4 25-minute sets. But back then I heard that they're doing like 4 45-minute sets. So there's even longer, and they're out there for. So it's and then like they would used to. I think they went like get there like 7 and then be done by like 1. Because their last set ended like at 12:30, you know. So I know their nights were just all killed, and then getting out late and waking up, and then doing the next day. Like even with the what's it called, Lego stuff, like they're getting burnt out by doing the same show. Like I just know, like
that's crazy.
I just knew it doesn't get better when I saw the Suburban Legend guys. Like it's weird. Like they're about it, like I said, and then like sometimes. Like I guess with the rained out, they're like, "Oh man, I wish we could have just not done this." I was like, "Dang, really? This? Okay, yeah." But I feel like it never. Yeah, that was not eye opening, but cause I've always seen that even with like other, like you heard like some interview with Michael Jackson, and that fool hates touring, and then right when I heard that, I was like. Oh, so it doesn't get better. Okay. It never gets better, I guess.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. And then it made me think is like, so yeah, I've always thought about that. Even now with Top Shelf, I was like, okay, got to figure out with changing the thing, doing different things, and then also not doing that same thing for such a long time. I feel like that will save us and keep us around.
But there's I mean, I guess that struggles, like you're talking about with Suburban Legends, because they can't just be like, all right, here's our song. You know, you can't interject their own song. You got to play what they want, right? Is that how that works?
Well, we do it like a it's almost like a solid 50-50.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They play a lot of the original, and it's really tight that that we'll bring. They played at Tomorrowland for so long, but there's a lot of fans. Like
Tomorrowland, that's what it was.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are just that know all the originals that are hardcore Disney fans. Now are also hardcore Suburban Legend fans, or maybe they were already Suburban Legend fans, or whatever. Because I'm really surprised at a lot of people that we bring in to the park
just to see you guys.
Yeah, because you can see them mouthing all the words, the originals, and they know that I'm this new person because they know all the lineups.
They're like, wait a minute, who's this dude?
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people like another guy was like, oh yeah, you're filling in for this person or whatever. Where are you from? And I was like, oh shoot, it's crazy.
This is creepy.
Yeah.
So how many horn sections do they have? Or what? I mean, how many in the horn section do they have?
I think there's 3. It's like me, Chris, and Aaron. And on this run, it's mainly just been me and Chris Luca. That was cool. He does a lot of he writes music for video games. It's really, I mean, I feel like that's a really new industry, right? And some of that, but yeah, it's crazy to meet someone that like that's his main gig. I feel like that's like a really hard avenue to get in because it's like, where do you meet?
Yeah, that's a small niche. I mean, who do you meet that does that?
It's a small niche, and it's one of the niches that I feel like is growing a lot. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But we've been doing that Food and Wine Festival at California Adventures maybe since the end of maybe the 3rd week of March, and it goes to the end of April. And that one's that one's been a lot of fun. And the horns, in Suburban Legends, it's a lot of fun because there's a lot of like different. I'm still learning up the show right now too because there's so much choreography.
Oh, you guys dancing too?
Yeah, there's a lot of dancing, a lot of different bits and stuff, and I've got And I'm definitely practice on my own and try to get them all the stuff together, because like even like I said, like all the people know all the words. They also know all the bits in the show. I'm like, shoot, I gotta learn this bits because people are expecting the same show.
The people eyeball you if you miss a step.
There was
There
was a certain part, because there's it's the song "Bright Spring Morning." There's this like they used to do this like sword fight thing bit in the middle of the song, and then right when it came up, like we'd start singing or whatever, and I saw two people they just looked at each other like this, like right when it happened, they looked up and smiled. I'm like, darn it, they knew these. Like it never happened before, but I knew during that part they were expecting that because they knew all the original side. They were singing along and stuff.
They knew they had their eye on me.
No, for real, I knew that they were thinking, oh, and this is the part where they. Oh, I guess not. Maybe not. Yeah.
This dude missed it.
No, for real. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, it's pretty tight. And then, like, what's it called? I feel like I've been learning a lot, too, because, like, Suburban Legends, like, Vince and Brian, super cool dudes. Like, they got it, like, down of, like, running the group, being in business and being like casual. I feel like they found a really great middle ground. I've seen a lot of groups, even the older groups. That just like, I don't know, the vibe wise is really like maybe if it's like they're really big, the vibe is like too tense or something, or maybe it's not. But like Brian and Vince have been super cool from the very beginning, just like finding that being really cool, but also being like being upfront about. Like the type of gigs, like even this, like it's very casual for them to get certain like festivals and even like runs like this at Disney, like they've been doing it for a long time, so it feels really easy to like jump in with them, you know.
That's good.
Yeah, because that I feel like I've been learning a lot, not only behind the scenes, but like performing and stuff. Like those guys have been killing it. Like they kill it. It's crazy to see people kill it on a very casual, like them. Like performing casually is performing at a high level, you know.
That's
like,
good.
You know, yeah. So that's been really cool playing with them, and then same thing with behind the scenes. Like they run the band behind the scenes, same thing. Casually, they're running at a high level. It's crazy. See that? Yeah. It's super cool.
Well, that's good. So when you're in your top shelf band, so I know you did the song because Chris had played the song that I lost my keys or I lost my keys.
Oh yeah. Back in the day, yeah.
Get another round. I don't care about this, man. Fucking Wells. Give me that top shelf.
I'm on my mind. Been drinking wine. Yo, what's the time? I'm feeling fine. Ooh, we tripping acid. We trying bad shit. Yeah, girl, you nasty. Yeah, you a bad bitch. I lost my keys in purple leaves. It's hard to breathe in double D's. What are my keys? What are my keys? What are my keys? What are my keys?
What the hell am I vaping, Ben? What you put in this vape pen? Shit, what the hell is it laced in? I feel like I'm freebasing and my brain cells are erasing, but the outline of a silhouette with my eyeballs I'm tracing, and I swear I'm about to die facing them big ass recesses. I'm about to get lost in this place. Goddamn, they're so excessive. She could knock out, they call her rope a dope. If she fell in the lake, she'd stay afloat. And for some reason, all I can think about is buying a motorboat and going vroom vroom in that boom boom room, then vroom vroom to that hotel room. So we chill with mushrooms. Then she said, I love you. And I said, excuse you? She said, you gon' be my groom soon. Yo, where the fuck are my car keys?
I'm on my mind. Been drinking wine. Yo, what's the time? I'm feeling fine. Ooh, we tripping acid. We trying bad shit. Yeah, girl, you nasty. Yeah, you a bad bitch. I lost my keys in purple leaves. It's hard to breathe in double D's. What are my keys? What are my keys? What are my keys? What are my keys? I'm high as hell, I might as well. My brain going circles like a dog trying to bite his tail. I might as well drink some water, get home to my daughter, but I can't find my keys, so I can't even leave. What a wild things are lost in these trees. I can't believe that I got this high. Please, Lord, don't let me die. Like, who are you and who am I? Cotton mouth, my mouth is dry. Time for me to say goodbye. But the girl next to me says she new to the big old city, and she got some tickle bitties in her attitude so witty. Man, she witty. She'll get it if I don't overdose. Man, she fell for the okie doke, trying to soil my royal oats. Who'd I tell to hold my coat? Who the hell spiked the punch? Feel like I've been on my feet for months. I ain't even eat no lunch. Who the fuck laced the blunt? One of them top shelf niggas, one of them horn players, smoking on orange hair. I was born a player, I don't even care at this point. I'm trying to get the fuck out of this joint so she can slob on my knob. If I've been robbed for my fob, I need my I'm on my fucking mind, been drinking wine. Yo, what's the time? I'm feeling fine. Ooh, tripping acid. We trying bad shit. Yeah, girl, you nasty. Yeah, you a bad bitch. I lost my keys in purple leaves. It's hard to breathe in double D's. What are my keys? What are my keys? What are my keys? What are my keys?
Dave was telling me you guys did a big collab with, and I'm trying to remember who it is.
Which one?
I don't I don't want to say Cardi B.
That was back in the day. That was a corporate thing with me and some of the guys from Top Shelf met up with there's this group called Boom Percussion. Those guys are wild. It's kind of common. They're out of Phoenix, but they're like, it's funny. They're like a bunch of like rockers that got into the corporate marching band world, because they're all like marching band people, but they're also a bunch of like rock musicians. So do we love meeting up with those guys? It's super tight. So it's like us and half of us went over to meet with their crew, and it was like for her birthday, and that mess was wild because like what do you get rich people for their birthday? You know what I mean? So it was kind of weird. I guess her husband was getting her a car, and we were like the ones to like walk in and surprise her with the car, right? And so with that, but right before, like they had it all planned. It was crazy. Like they had these 2 camels come out to just hype up the crowd, just because it was like a desert theme, being out in Vegas or whatever, right? And and this is the crazy part. This is like during COVID. This is like end of 2020. They're just having a giant party. They just don't care.
We don't care.
Yeah, and Vegas was pretty much open. You know what I mean? And what's it called? Yeah, that was a wild. It's such a wild. That was a wild run because there are a bunch of random celebrities there, and I think like seeing people on TV. You know, you're like, oh, I wonder how they're going to be. Are they going to be exactly like they are on TV? Yes. Okay, she is exactly as why you think. Just going crazy. Everyone's just all dancing and shit, and I like it. That was like really crazy because it was like just being during COVID time. Just like, what? I don't even know what's going on. You know, like we haven't played. Like that was a gig, like the first gig I played in maybe in months during that time.
Oh, wow.
Because everything was shut down. So from going to doing nothing, and then doing that hit. I was like, it's just like sensory overload. Just like not seeing people, and then now we're with a ton of people around with camels, and
Who'd have thunk you needed a camel?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like rich people, I think they go for experiences. That's the thing that I've always like being in a working band or playing in the brass band is that somehow maybe because of New Orleans thing, somehow brass band is like a luxury item because it costs a lot. Like I feel like I'm selling Gucci bag because it costs like a couple thousand to rent out the band just because it's so big naturally.
Yeah.
There's so many people we have to pay at everyone, right? But like I played at a ton of random rich for stupid things. Like rich people buy the stupidest things, just like
Just to spend money?
just to spend money. Like I've played for multiple like children's birthdays that are they're like 1 or 2. So those are like the early birthdays. It's not for the kid, right?
Yeah.
But but it's like in the middle of Beverly Hills or it's in Brentwood or something. Like they're like, oh, the kid loves marching band, so we're gonna bring out like a 10-piece band and have you guys march down the street and stuff like that. And then everyone's like, I don't know, it's just really weird. I like do all these weird, crazy things, go play for for some random celebrity or something, and then I just drive on the 60 and exit off of Frederick and then just go home. You know what I mean?
Here you are in Merino Valley.
No, yeah, it's always that's always a weird thing. No matter what I've done and stuff like that, like playing for some random person or playing some crazy place, I'm always driving back on the 60. I'm just like, and then I pass the Mammoth and stuff. I'm like, just like, oh, I'm back. There it is. You know what I mean? Like it's always. I feel like, yeah, coming back to it always grounds me of just like, okay, this is who I am. You know what I mean? There's where I'm at. Anytime I felt like it always settles down for I guess what I'm doing. Yeah, it puts it in perspective because I feel like if I was like in LA, I'd be I would turn like everyone else, and that's like in LA, just like getting blinded by the industry and stuff like that, and just I would be staying in it too much. I feel like that would I don't know, not everyone. It doesn't happen to everyone, but I can see myself changing if I was like always into that mess.
Yeah.
I've always liked to come back to IE for that though. How long have you been in Merino Valley?
So I've been here about 16 years.
Dang. Did I pass you out by your house all the time? My saxophone player lives literally at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I would be picking up ever since high school. I've been passing by here forever. And when you said when you lived over here, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where that. Like, yeah, I remember I saw a story you sent me after I was posting about the burrows.
Yeah.
And you posted a video. I was like, I know exactly where that is just from the video.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the address, I was like, yeah, I was right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. I mean, it would have been my first choice. I only moved here for work because I work for the Air Force. So I work out in March.
Oh, you were going to March. Okay, yeah.
But had I not, I probably wouldn't have been like Merino Valley.
It's a random city, but no, I love it. I've lived here my entire life. It's like it's pretty chill because I'm like other cities. It's just too crowded. I don't know. I feel like I didn't like it growing up, or maybe I thought that's all I knew, and then when I was able to see other places, and then I started to like respect it more for the things that it does, having the area, having the space, being so congested around, and it's close enough to certain areas that you can go there. You know what I mean? We can hour and a half to LA, hour and a half to San Diego, 4 hours to Vegas, right? It's not, that's like, it seems like a lot, but it's not too bad,
Yeah, and that's what I like about it, because you're kind of big city, because you're not isolated, but at the same time you're not actually part of it. You can go to the big city, you can go down to Anaheim, you can go to the beach, then you come back to normal, not big city life.
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't know. I feel like most places, like I did. Oh, it's funny. I did this thing last year. It was the first time I did a run out in Missouri, and it was for like a month long. And it was really eye opening how like there's like nothing out there, and I feel like that's like most of the country too. There's like nothing out there, and it's like, imagine if it's like Merino Valley, and then you drive, and then it never gets bigger. It just only gets smaller, and then like that's probably. I don't know, that I feel like I take that for granted being here, like taking the amenities of California. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd love California. I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. For like, even Texas, like I think most of the cities are all out like 4 hours away from each other. Yeah, it's kind of gnarly.
Longest drive I ever did in my entire life. I had a friend. He was in San Antonio, Texas. I was up in Logan, Utah. He's like, "Come out, dude. We're gonna start the band up again." I'm like, "All right." So I drove. Longest drive from El Paso to San Antonio. Geez, there is nothing out there. You're just like dirt,
No, yeah,
dirt,
yeah.
more dirt.
Yeah, no, for reals. That is definitely a trek. And then even the cities don't even have, I guess like music scene wise, or just entertainment scene wise. I feel like it's like we're almost spoiled here in California. Like San Diego's pretty big, and I mean LA pretty much has it all. But like even San Diego's bigger than most cities across the country in general.
Yeah.
You know, of like what it has to offer. So yeah, that's why I'm like I'm down with. I don't know, maybe it's because I've always been around here in Moreno Valley, but in the IE, but maybe it's that Stockholm syndrome. Just been here, like okay, now I like it. I don't know, no, but yeah, but I've been now that I'm older, and I really like representing. Because I used to representing Moreno Valley. Because I used to like when we went out, I'd be like, oh, we're from LA. You know what I mean? Just like, or just say that whole thing of just like California. But now I think it's been cooler to rep Moreno Valley and say that I'm from this smaller area, because then I don't know, it feels better, and people. I think it's cooler the people to say like, oh, where is that from? Oh, okay, kind of like help it put I guess for music, put it on the map wise. You know, like at least do what you can to like add that. You know, because I think everyone always like, because I get that all the time. Like oh, you don't know where this place is? Okay, I'll say Riverside. Riverside's pretty cool too. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. Like LA, it already has enough love. Yeah,
I'm guilty. I do that all the time.
yeah,
Moreno Valley, where's that? We're Riverside.
yeah.
Everyone knows Riverside.
Yeah, no, exactly. If they don't know Riverside, then do LA. If they don't know LA, then I don't know.
There's no hope.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah,
crazy.
brass band is always it's such a weird thing. The types of gigs. That's the only thing I feel like a lot of genres have certain gigs that they always play, maybe certain shows, certain type of venues. But I felt like brass band has always pushed us into random, just completely random fields. Yeah.
Like ending up with Exhibit.
Yeah. Like playing for Exhibit stuff. That was crazy. We played a lot with played a couple times with John C. Riley, just because he likes New Orleans stuff. So
really?
Yeah, so we played with him a couple times. Yeah, that theme park stuff. We've done a lot, like a random gig that it's not a celebrity thing, but for people, I don't know if it's because of Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
But people CEOs love walking in to their like corporate opening with a band. I've done so many gigs where it's just like, you know what, and everyone thinks of the original. They're like, you know what we need? We need a brass band. We need a marching band to walk in. And
Nobody's thought of this before.
No, for reals. And I want to tell them, I'm like, dude, we do this all the time. Like I was just like thinking about it, but yeah, that seems to be the thing. It's like, oh yeah, let's just get a brass band, and then I think the people will love it. Whatever, you know.
So like, I don't know who thought maybe that was from that movie, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why that's probably the one thing, like brass band, the types of gigs. It's always super random. Probably because there's not enough scene. I wish there were just more shows. Maybe that's something I'm trying to get into, just to do more like random. Because that's what I always loved with the ska and punk shows. Cause that like the environment was always like in a nightclub kind of era, you know.
So what kind of shows would you want to do? Would you want to do them with other horn type bands, or just any other mixture kind of group, or what would those shows be like that you'd want to do?
Yeah, I guess we'd probably in SoCal probably deal with more like either funk or R&B, because they have. I feel like the crowds can be similar just because of the horns. You know, any type of dance band really. I mean, we've played with any band, because I feel like we've done a lot of shows where the promoter doesn't know exactly where to put us, so he just puts us in a. Like we played with indie pop shows, we played with like obviously the ska thing, and but yeah, it's almost like now we're almost trying to, like, since we're getting back into it, it's like that's what we're finding out now. It's like, where can we really fit in to start throwing around shows? I guess, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like you guys can fit in if they do throw you in anywhere. You
Yeah, I feel like mainly since we have such a wide range genre, when they actually see us, they have such a wide range genre wise. They're like, okay, we at least fit in somewhere in the show. You know what I mean?
that's it. Hey, good for you guys for doing it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty chill. Now that but yeah, I think now that we're recording, it's gonna be interesting now that we're gonna be building a new show and getting back into those venues or new festivals in general.
All right. So when you talk about recording, what are you guys writing new stuff, or are you doing covers? A combination of both.
Yeah, definitely a combination of both. I think that's really big in the brass band genre. Do a lot of covers. So now we're like really banking off of just like having like the Beatles went through a recording age. I think that's where we're trying to push forward now, is to get those, because that's something we've never really ventured into, of having recording. We've always just done live shows, and then like gotten success from playing live. So then we just kept on doing that, and that like forced us in the working band, right?
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah. And then that's like, yeah, definitely. That's why we kind of how we got into the working band and all the theme park stuff, just because it's like playing live kept on pushing us, and we kept on getting carrots of like, to follow this direction. Oh, you guys, how about do this? And then we just kept on going and going, and then now we found out. Now that we're here, I'm like 10 years later. I'm like, oh shoot, this is tight and not tight. Okay, now let's let's turn a little bit and figure where we're going right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bands. There's a lot of bands, a lot are like us that that got into that headliner realm, able to throw their own shows or festival lineups. But but that's the thing. Everyone's done it different, and they're all different genres. So it's kind of hard to figure out a template with any of them, because they're even though they're brass bands, all the brass band headliners are all in different realms.
Okay.
Except for the New Orleans groups, because they're all in the same genre ish. Like maybe maybe there's like a couple. There's like 3 or 4 that are headlining out pretty well. But all the other brass bands, like there's European style, like the Balkan groups. There's a bunch of Mexican like bandas, right? And then there's like there's some experimental New York groups. Like I don't know if you heard like Too Many Zoos. Yeah, they're just like, it's just a bari sax, a trumpet, and a bass drummer, and they got famous off of like playing in the subways and stuff.
Oh yeah, and he's doing the dancing. With his feet
Yeah.
and all that. Okay.
So that's what I mean. Is it's like, so you have a New Orleans group, and then you have like a group like that, and then maybe a group from like Wisconsin that's like doing their own thing. So all the groups are like fairly different, but they're all in a sort of brass band aspect, right? So so it gave me the vision. I was like, I know it's possible. I just gotta really figure this out. Been doing this. I felt like I was putting band-aids over it, or like the money was like having us go a certain direction. And I was like, dang, I gotta like really hone down on just what we do or something, recording, just to like venture off in this new field. You know what I mean?
Cut Pro to the next level with the Ultimate Bundle. Just $99 for every single Final Cut plugin we make in one huge bundle. Dynamic transitions, epic effects, pro templates, creative titles, and cinematic LUTs. Everything you need to boost your video editing to the next level. The Ultimate Bundle.
Yeah. So, how does recording work with your type of group? Because I know, like, when I've recorded in bands, you do the drums separate, you do the guitar separate, you do the bass separate. Is that the same with, your horns and all that, or do you do that all at the same time?
I think I would love to do it all at the same time. We have to do, I guess, depending on the project. I guess now we've been doing more multi-tracking because I think mainly just out of schedule, but I would love to do more section work for sure. But I guess it's all on the sound, I mean, like like the way that you track kind of dictates the type of sound or vibe, right?
Yeah.
So now, what's it called? Andrew, he's the other trombone player for our group. He's also like the big producer in the group. Really, I feel like depending on the song or depending on whatever the part, we'll track it in that way. Most of the times it'll be rhythm section first, just to lay down, or I'll like figure out a demo as much. I'll like try to record as much of the parts as we can already, and then switch them out as when we get people to come in.
Okay.
Yeah, because we got the Frequency Factory in Riverside.
Sounds familiar. I think we've played there years ago.
Yeah, it's like a rehearsal studio. It's been around for a long time. It's over.
Is that way down?
It's by Van Buren and or Arlington and Rutland is like the cross street.
Luke,
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Yeah, we used to practice there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of bands like rehearse out there. Yeah, we've been renting out one of the rooms there. We've been working out of there since the top of this year.
Okay.
So now we got all our stuff like kind of settled in and a home base to like rehearse and record and
So a question on that. So when we went, I know there was, I don't know how many he has now. There was 2 rooms, one up front and then one right around the corner. And it was just a room. There was nothing in it. Mm-hmm. Then he had another one in the back that had a mixer in a window. Mm-hmm. So do you guys use that? Do you bring your own stuff and you just leave it, or how does that work?
Oh yeah, we're in the room that's like when you walk in the door, it's like right to the left.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in that first room right now, and pretty much, the rooms are like different. There's a couple different producers now that everyone kind of has their own rooms in a sense, and they still rented out the back rooms here and there. Luke and Kyle rent out that back room, but yeah, right now it's kind of just like it's like a home base for kind of all of us, just like work. Now we're just trying to like it's new for us in that space, so now we're just trying to figure out how do we work in this area and with everyone else there, because I'm doing a lot of projects just in house with the other producers and stuff. So that's been fun, like figuring that out and getting projects going. I was just there last night. We're just working on a different track and stuff, but now having that space, it's been giving us a lot to like, I guess the momentum to record and to get the new stuff out. Because before it was like, it's like hard getting in recording time. It's like hard figuring it out. But now that we always have it, it's been and then we're paying for the time that they be there. It's like, oh, we got to be there because we're paying to get the space going. So
you guys don't have to bring all your recording equipment every single time. Or
we pretty much like loaded up a mixer and pretty much have our monitors in there now. It's all set up pretty much. Yeah,
that definitely takes the wind out of yourself. Sometimes I got to set all this crap up, and then you're like, no, I don't even want to do it.
No, exactly. So now that it's all there, it's pretty much it's super easy. It took maybe like 2 months to really get it into a way that we like, so we can just like walk in the door, flip it on, and start working.
Nice.
So and we're still figuring out the little kinks here and there, but right now recording, since we have that room, it's been super dope to just being able to just like we have the space whenever. Like we were staying yesterday, just like, man, it's so tight that we can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that we're just taking advantage of that energy of just like, okay, let's just figure out. There's like now that we have this, let's just really work this out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was a band called the Dudikoffs. I recorded their album there.
Yeah.
First one. Yeah, it was fun. It was a nice place because we used to
Yeah.
practice at this other place, and this dude was a wacko. I want to say it was off. Maybe Dave will have to tell you. I don't know. I just remember getting a huge argument over digital versus analog.
Oh, that's a weird. Yeah.
This old dude, and he was weird. I'm just like, oh man. And then so finally Dave shows up. He's like, "Don't worry, dude. We got this better place to play." And then, not so disgusting and full of weirdos. And his girlfriend would come in the middle of practice. It's just like, "Jeez, dude, come on, you crackhead."
No, that's super random. That's like, yeah, dude. You can tell he wanted the studio. Like, yeah, I want a place where we could hang and stuff. I'm like, no, not with the bands. Come on, like, these are other people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's always random.
Yeah. Band life, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, but what's it called? Yeah, Luke. I've known him for a minute, and I met him through Chris
Okay.
too. Yeah, because Chris rehearsed there, and then I found out, and then it being so close with Josh and Dave, and that, like, I always see them going through with their band stuff, and like that place kind of became home base for us, and so yeah, that was like back in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
So maybe 8 or 9 years, and then he was like, okay, now you guys can maybe check out a room. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was
You've
like,
earned status.
and it was like 9 years, and then that's pretty decent. That is decent because like I know he's been running that place for like 20 plus years, at least that building, and then like expanding and all that stuff. And yeah. I would have been just as hesitant, just like, oh, I don't know, But now it's been pretty chill, like running that place for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like the idea. Me and Kyle and Luke are like, well, I would love to run that place like a like goals wise, like my vision for like 10 years is get that place running to like be like a Muscle Shoals kind of aspect, or like recording artists or whatever in that space, because there's like so many rooms and it's in a space where it feels like it's by itself, even though it's not,
Yeah.
like it feels like you're away enough, you're far away enough to feel like you can just focus on this, like I've done a lot of studios in LA where it's like, dang, you're just so compact. I'm like, and just like so busy to get, there's no parking to get in. You're like in the middle of downtown or Hollywood. It's like hard to get anywhere, but here there's like a lot of space, tons of food around in that area in Riverside. And, I feel like it's one of the pluses of being in that area. It's super chill.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot better feeling, a lot more relaxed, a lot less intense, and less like, look, you got your crap, get over and get out and get done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, and so I feel like the vibe there really chill. And then Luke being such a real chill, cool, relaxed guy, I feel like that kind of goes that lays into the vibe of the Frequency Factory for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you and in your group?
Yeah, I think right now just focus on that festival market. You'll know if we did it if you start seeing us doing more tight shit. You're just like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. But yeah, I would love to bring Top Shelf into that headliner realm. Like, throwing our own show. I think we've done small clubs here and there, but I would love to take that next step, doing clubs around, or I mean, like. Yeah. Doing small clubs or even large rooms like 500 plus would be super dope. That's like my immediate goal. Get these recordings and get to that status so we can start playing them in the big leagues.
Now, are you going to do all your recordings in that place at Luke's, or are you going to just kind of get a rough recording, go somewhere like a professional place?
Yeah, that we're probably doing more out of Luke's, only because it's weird, because our genre, it's because we went out to other studios and stuff like that, and it's almost not counterproductive. What kind of? It's in a weird spot because, like I said, since there's no scene,
like, do they kind of just don't know what to do with you?
That's what we came across, and because we went to we recorded with other people, and other people have brought us in, and since there isn't a scene or culture around it. It doesn't sound right. Like we'll hear and then we'll hear the bands, and then that have done it, or in New Orleans, it's easy. Like there's a ton of bands, so that like all the sound sounds consistent, it sounds full. But even the other bands that made it, all the other brass groups, when we looked up how they just did it themselves, and it made sounds like, okay, so I guess we're gonna have to figure it out because to get, I guess, the sound correctly, because everyone's like modeling after what's been done before. You know what I mean? So it's like weird trying to record a group that doesn't exist in a sense, right? Using techniques off of a genre, off of a different genre, or old techniques of something. I think the main thing is mainly just it's really just the recording I think it's like recording and the mixing of the horns. I think everyone gets it some parts right, but it's like, the combination of doing that, because there's like recording horns is like a weird art in itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like how to mic it, whether you'd be too close or multiple mics, whatever, right? And then mixing it, you're just having like 9 separate parts, right, to make that sound like cohesive, whatever. And the ways to do it, I feel like some people get it better than others, you know, recording wise. And but yeah, it's just weird. Unless I would love to do it at a giant studio, like that has a giant wooden room, and
this is awesome.
Super ideal, because then they would have enough mics and enough space to hold a group to do it live in that aspect. But like going to another studio, unless they have some of the like, and it's almost like circumstances just in general, like I feel like unless we're doing a crazy jump like that, then I guess we're just gonna do it ourselves. Like, unless someone was like, hey, we have this huge room, it's all like we're gonna have all these different set of mics that we were able to do it live, or the people, I'm like, okay, yeah, I will shell out the money to get to make this work, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's when we start getting into huge jumps of money right there.
It's almost like when we're gonna be recording into this full Neve console, and it's gonna sound amazing. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff, like most of that stuff is kind of sounds kind of wild now, just because of how technology. I mean, like it's like the fact that we're able to do like a crazy studio right now. Yeah. Just like technology is so crazy. Like people are able to compete from everywhere. From your house or from a studio or whatever. I feel like that's leveled the playing ground. It's like, so for us, where it's like, okay, well, I guess we already have the equipment. Like it's only taken a little bit of learning curve for us to do it ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of like, because that's the other thing. When you pay someone else to do it, because I've done this, because I'm doing that with another group right now, and I'm seeing like we went to a studio. And it just doesn't sound like, it sounds crisp, but it doesn't sound that full. It sounds really thin. Okay. You know, for the group, just because it's the way they tracked it and the way they mixed it. But it was a super nice room, and this guy's super well known in the industry. Right. And but I knew, like, seeing that, I'm like, oh yeah, it's because he's never recorded this type of group, and not even this type of group. He's never recorded
like brass instruments.
Not even brass. It's like almost the genre. Like he's done like big band.
Okay.
And I think the mix of that is completely different. Like than the brass band should sound like, I guess it should sound more like a heavy funk or R&B or even like a rock group. It should sound that big, right? But then when we got the mix, it sounded super small, kind of big band horns, super like the mics are too far away. It's like sounded super thin in that mix, and I was like, okay, that's he just didn't know. What am I supposed to say? Like. Get some plugins and like let's fix that. Like I don't know, like almost like it's like some of the, like I just knew the intention, and that would have just cost more money to pay him out for another session. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like I think that's the thing, is that like between the amount of money and the amount of time, and like it just seemed to make more sense. Like okay, we'll just invest in ourselves. We'll pay a little bit less, but. I mean, or pay a little bit more, but we'll have way more time for us to do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I had a roommate, a college roommate. He had an uncle that was he did movies, sound for movies, I think, down in Burbank. So this was 2004, maybe 2003. So I went down there. He gave me a tour of the studio and all this, and he's like, yeah, we're a dying breed. Because a lot of people with technology, they're buying all the stuff and they can do all what we're doing at home. So I agree. I mean, sometimes, yeah, you can go and spend a whole lot of money and then be like, I could have done this here. Like you said, a little bit of a learning curve. You got to buy some equipment, but now you have a lot better space. It's more relaxed. It's not as stressful. Hey, sometimes things work.
That's like, and then I feel like we're starting to hear that more in the industry. Of like even with what's it called, Billie Eilish not too long ago, her and her brother Phineas, just like getting, best. What I don't know if she got best artist and best album, whatever, just from a bedroom studio. Like it really kind of, and then people have been doing a lot of that. I mean, for years now, it's like really leveling the playing field of like, it's like the engineers kind of like, or the people that are making the gear, really signed their, I guess, really made their own grave for the producers in a sense, right? Like you said, because it is kind of crazy. Just people, and I'm always surprised, even with people like there's some producers of like how much they're able to do, like just portably, just like on the road, maybe even on their phone. Honestly, I've seen some random producers on phone and tablets. I'm just like surprised that we've been able to do it. Like I can only imagine 10, 15 years, 10, 20 years. It's going to be like everything, like even now it's going to be like this mixer. We're like, oh yeah, we'll have it on my.
We got this.
Yeah, exactly. We have it on my tablet right here. Like I feel like it's all coming pretty quick. Like even like the past, like I feel like 10 years, I feel like gear has gotten crazy. Or just in general, what we're able to do. Like for sure, studios, unless we're really using their building or like the room and the space, I feel like it's almost not needed,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Dude, I've been tripping on all the gear and stuff. It's super dope.
Yeah, this is my little music room / Legos.
No, the gears are super crazy. And I know because I'm always at the shop over at work at Lego, seeing all the pieces. So we'll see some of the pieces, and I know some of the things that are like, they're always like some of these sets right here that I'm seeing right now. They're all pretty crazy. Like I know they took a lot, especially that one right there.
Yeah, that was my big one.
Yeah, it's like hours of just like putting them together.
Well, that one screwed me over. So they got the new one, which is like $800. So before that was the 2001 Millennium Falcon, and I didn't know that when it came out in 2001. Plus, I didn't even have any money. So I don't know, about 10 years ago, I'm just, I'm going to go on one of those Lego sites and just buy a couple pieces at a time, just kind of piece it together. Because I figured by the time I was done, I would have paid just as much, I think the $400 that it was in 2001. Well, I started buying it. All of a sudden, the new one comes out. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I was almost done with that one. So I'm like, you know what? It ended up, I'm just going to buy all the pieces. And it ended up costing me about $600 because I pieced that one out. And then it came out the new one, a-holes.
That's, you already know they have like the different sets. Like they'll probably do a version of like, oh, here's the 2025. You're like, you already know that they are coming out with a different series. You thinking about getting the that crazy it's like half Death Star, the corner.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I got to control. I got a whole bunch more in the closet in there.
Yeah, no, that's super dope. Dude, it's pretty crazy. The deals. Lego's been really like them. I'm always surprised of what IPs like since they're able to get because they're so like it's so generic, just building blocks. They're like, oh, we can just do anything. We're basically anything. You know what I mean? Like building, like right now they've been doing a lot of. There's a ton. They always have Star Wars stuff over at the park, but now they've been building a lot more Marvel stuff since that's been growing. I see a lot of those popping up now.
Yeah.
That's been that's been pretty chill.
Yeah, we went to Legoland years ago. I mean, it was cool. It's cool to see. You're just like, this is my childhood fantasy.
Yeah. They got the new city. They just built over in their little Lego World, the Miniland. They have a Lego San Diego now.
Oh, really?
They just built the new San Diego. And you know it's super BS because they made San Diego bigger than the other cities. I was like, this is hella wrong. It's definitely not bigger than Vegas over there.
They're like, we have to represent our town.
No, for reals. They when we saw the reveal, I was like, wait, what the? I was looking at how like how that is not bigger than the Luxor. That is definitely not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's just because it's newer. They maybe made it bigger and stuff. But it's it's super cool. It's just playing. Like we play right in the middle of like the little town of seeing all the towns, you know?
Yeah. That's one where you first go in.
You first go in and go off to the right a little bit, and then there's like all the little Miniland City.
Okay. I think I remember that one.
Yeah, because there's like a little, it's like a park area. There's like Vegas, and there's like DC on one side. There's like New York.
Okay, I remember the New York one, so it's over by there.
It's right by the New York stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
all the little towns and stuff. That one's pretty funny. There's always like there's a bunch of ducks that live at the park, and it's right by the area. So sometimes the ducks will walk into the city, and they just look like Godzilla, like going through the town. There's like the ducks walking through. I was always like, it's always the little things at park. I'm like, this is why I love this job.
This is why I'm here.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, that's always dope.
All right, Ben. Well, thanks for talking with me. It's
Yeah,
been
no.
awesome. Good luck with all your, hooking up shows and festivals.
Music, yeah. That's gonna be when you see us doing a music festival. You'd be like, he did it. That's gonna.
He has moved it.
Yeah. But thanks for having me. That was a super dope chill hang. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good afternoon.
Yeah, man. Yeah.